Yo, what is good, YouTube? What's up, PlayStation Nation? Jay Barry here, and I'm back with another video here to review Marvel Spider-Man 2. And yes, this review will contain light spoilers due to the fact of how I want to drive home my points as far as why I deem this game one of the greatest games to come out this year and my personal game of the year. Yeah, man, Spider-Man 2, Marvel Spider-Man 2 is here, and I played it, I platinumed it, and wow, this game left me in awe. There will be some gameplay elements that I'm going to be showing off in this review. So yeah, if you guys, don't mind light spoilers, if you didn't play the game yet, definitely, wait until you complete the game to watch this review, or just rock out with your boy. But let's get into it. You know how we do things when it comes to the reviews. We gotta give a score, and personally I am giving Marvel Spider-Man 2 a 10 out of 10. Yes, this is the first game that I reviewed out here that's given a perfect score, 10 out of 10. Does that mean the game is perfect? No, it does not. But the things that were implemented, the execution of many things, whether it's story, character development, just overall the game itself, Insomniac nailed it right here for me, man. As a huge Marvel Spider-Man fan, I love the fact of how they implemented the Peter Parker, the Miles Morales story elements, the Harry Osborn, Mary Jane, all of that stuff. I love how they implemented that stuff in the game. Meanwhile, you are playing as the two Spider-Men. And yeah, I loved every single bit of this game. But like I said, it is not a perfect game because there's a few things that I had issue with. And I mean a few things that I had issue with when it came to Marvel's Spider-Man 2. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the cons and how I felt about some of the small little glaring issues when it came to Marvel's Spider-Man 2. So let's talk about the elephant in the room, the bugs. This is a very heated topic on Twitter, on YouTube, where people are, some people are creating fake bugs, but some people are showcasing the bugs that they're experiencing in Spider-Man 2. And for full transparency, I've came across two actual bugs in this game. One is in Coney Island, where they give you the choice as far as your reward after you do all the mini games or whatnot in there, to pick your accessory as far as what you want to wear in your head or your eyes or whatnot. And that area was just completely bugged out for me, where I couldn't pick anything for my Peter Parker, but Mary Jane, and Harry, they got their hats or whatever thing that Mary Jane was wearing. I think it was like some reindeer thing or whatnot. So that was the first bug I encountered in the game. The other bug I encountered in the game was there was like a crime that was happening on a bridge, and it was one of those chase scenes where the car itself was glitched into like underneath the bridge, and I pressed triangle to pretty much web zip to the actual car, and I was pretty much stuck into the bridge. I'll show that stuff off as I'm talking about the game, but yeah, it was definitely weird experiencing that. I was like, oh wow, my first like true bug that I experienced here in the game. That was really it that I experienced. And I didn't experience any NPCs glitching within Spider-Man, or any NPCs in these weird positions. I'm not saying that didn't happen, but you got to be very careful as far as how people are recreating some of these bugs or showcasing some of these bugs. But yeah, it definitely, I had experienced some bugs. Hopefully they can fix up some of these issues, so to get a more polished game out there. But when it comes to my experience, yeah, I did not experience that many bugs. I did experience a game crash though. I'm not going to showcase that one just due to the fact of the mission that it was a side mission, the Spider Bots mission. And the game crashed on me after completing the side mission showcasing the actual like final cutscene of that mission. And yeah, the game just crashed me. That was my only one crash that I ever had in Marvel Spider-Man 2. And it was like, okay, you know what I mean? I just restarted it. When I restarted the game, it went right to the cutscene again. You know what I mean? So I can finish out the cutscene and whatnot. But yeah, that was the only time I experienced a crash, and that was the only time I've experienced any type of bugs within Marvel Spider-Man 2. The next con I want to talk about is no new game plus day one. I don't know what is going on when it comes to PlayStation Studios not having new game plus ready for the gamer as they complete this game. Yeah, I was looking forward to having new game plus, because when you do complete the game, they do give you an actual new difficulty. So kind of wanted to have that carryover with a new game plus. I don't know what Insomniac is doing, and when it comes to new game plus, if they're working on it, you know, is it going to be coming in a patch later? I personally haven't seen anything, but I just found it weird that, damn, there's no new game plus once again when it comes to another PlayStation, you know, single player exclusive game. So, you know, that was really disappointing for me. And yeah, you know, that was definitely one of the cons for me. Another con that I have here is like, yeah, I'm a comic book nerd. So I was kind of looking forward to just having more comic book lore or background when it comes to a lot of these, you know, characters or just stuff in the game. So not having an encyclopedia, I felt like that was kind of disappointing. You know, I do think that one thing that the Batman Arkham series definitely nailed is having those encyclopedias there as far as the character, the main protagonist, all the villains, all that stuff, because yeah, these are comic book characters, and you know, people that are not into the comic books, you have stuff that you can learn, you know, background story of stuff that you can learn within you know, the game itself. Yes, they're doing their own original story, they're doing their own little thing, but it will still be cool to have that type of lore, that type of background there with it. You know, they did have a little stuff when it came to the Spidey bots, you know, but I wish it was a little bit more than, you know, just the general consensus of what this bot is or whatnot. I was looking forward to just having like an encyclopedia. Yeah, you know what I mean? That's one thing I definitely love when it comes to like RPGs. And I know it's not an RPG game, but I love reading, you know, what the enemy's doing, the background story of the enemies, all that stuff when it comes to these games. Because I do think it helps, you know, get a better understanding of what's going on. There's a lot of characters that they introduce here within the game, and it'll be cool for anybody that's new up and coming Spider-Man fan or whatnot to know who these characters are within like a lore encyclopedia, dictionary, or something like that. The next con that I have, and this is my final con, I wanted more side mission activities. And when I talk about that, I'm talking about the crimes that happen in the game, or even side missions. I just felt like, yeah, they kind of wanted to respond to a lot of the media critics when it comes to, you know, there's too much stuff in the game. But as a gamer, I wanted more. You created a wonderful world here within Marvel Spider-Man 2, and I wanted to see more of that within Marvel Spider-Man 2. You know, so I wanted to see more crimes. I felt like the crimes, there was probably like about 4 total crimes. Yes, it's different factions that people are doing it in, but I wanted more crimes than what was being offered here, and more side mission activities. You know, I felt like those stuff is really fun. I do enjoy actually being Spider-Man and Peter Parker, Miles Morales and Spider-Man, where you do intertwine the two, you know, being intelligent, being smart, and incorporating that within these side missions and activities and all that stuff. Not saying that it was bad, but I just wanted to see more of that when it comes to this game. So yeah, that's pretty much the cons that I have when it comes to Marvel Spider-Man 2. And yeah, legit, those are the cons. Those are the things that I have issues with. And let's get into the pros and to see why this game is my personal game of the year. So let's talk about the pros and why I feel like Marvel Spider-Man 2 is my personal game of the year. And the first thing I want to talk about here is the story. I love what they did here in Marvel Spider-Man 2 as far as you playing as both Spider-Men, Peter Parker and Miles Morales. I felt like they fleshed out the characters really well. You know what I mean? Peter going through his situation, his turmoils, you know what I mean, his level of doubt and things to what he had to do to overcome that, and Miles being that support character, supporting Peter as far as like, yo, I got you, I'm here for you, I'm here to help you out, I'm also Spider-Man, you don't gotta hold this burden by yourself. But not only Miles being just a support character, but also being his own come out character as far as him being New York's Spider-Man. And Miles Morales, you know, it kind of, subjugated him to like Harlem, you know what I mean, like his area. This is Spider-Man's area or whatnot. But here, overall, he's just New York in general Spider-Man as well. And I like the two intertwining of the both characters and how two Spider-Man can play a part within, you know, being a superhero within New York. You know what I mean? And Peter having those doubts and those issues as far as him being Spider-Man, handling this burden and all that stuff, man. I love that fact, man. I loved how, you know, they played upon like the symbiote and how the symbiote play upon a lot of the emotions, you know what I mean, dealing with Peter and how his transformation into the black suit, into the symbiotic suit, into however, you know, he loses the suit and whatnot. Having Harry there as well, being that third wheel, you know, interrupting Miles and Peter's little stuff right here. Harry's back, the best friend is back. Yo, Peter focuses on that. I love that, man. Even Miles feeling a little bit of jealous. There's a lot of dialogue that goes on into the boss fights as well that I loved. And it just played along with all those emotions that they display and they set up within the game. And the story is just like chef kiss. I promise you, the story is amazing in Marvel Spider-Man 2. Mary Jane, she having her resurgence arc, you know what I mean, or redemption arc, where, you know, a lot of criticisms about Mary Jane in the first game, you know, from, you know, her missions or just her being a character, dance and distress type of thing. She came out and had her own little thing, man. Some Mary Jane missions was really, really fun in the game, you know, and I really enjoyed, you know, them playing upon all the criticisms of Mary Jane and applying that here on the story and dealing with it within the story and, you know, other, you know, scenarios that happen within the game, man. I just thought it was well, you know, from the villains, the side characters, having Rafe there and what she's going through, you know, having Doc Connors and what he's going through. Craven, oh my God, Craven is such a beast in this game, man. You know, Craven is a monster in this game, man. Yeah, I just love that stuff when it comes to Marvel Spider-Man 2, man. It's just some of the greatest stuff I've seen story-wise within a game. Black Cat having her scene there, and probably one of the coolest scenes in the game, you know, I mean, showcasing a little bit of, you know, Doctor Strange stuff going on there, man. Them incorporating the Wand of Watum, other Marvel artifacts and other Marvel stuff being incorporated in this game, you know, from the Easter eggs, the cameos, all that stuff is dope within this game, man. I just love that fact, man. This is one of the best scenes in the game, where you have Miles just zipping in and going through the Wand of Watum and all that stuff. Just amazing setup what they're doing here with the game, and what they did with Miles and having Peter, you know, going through his stuff, you know, all these other characters going through their stuff, and they compacted that stuff within a 20-hour, I want to say, story. I've been playing on spectacular difficulty, you know, where I did feel like that difficulty offered like a nice challenge to the game, but yeah. Story-wise, man, this is some of the best stuff that you'll play. This is some of the best stuff that you'll see within a PlayStation exclusive game. And yeah, I loved it because I am a huge Marvel Spider-Man fan. I am a big Spider-Man fan, and I just loved how they made me even more of a Spider-Man fan and made me even more of like a Miles Morales fan. You know what I mean? I'm a huge Peter Parker fanboy, but Miles definitely had like a super, super cool come out for his character, and I just love how they developed Miles, where from the comics, from the movies, all those different adaptations about the character, now the video game is just cool, man. It's just super cool. The next thing I want to talk about is the combat. Marvel Spider-Man 2 is by far the best action superhero, you know, video game combat I've played. And yeah, I played a lot of these superhero games, man, and this combat is the best. I love some of the new implementations that they added in here. I love how different the character felt as far as Miles and his abilities and the Venom upgrade abilities that he has. Peter using the web legs and the symbiote abilities as well. They implemented a lot of stuff where you have a lot more air options in the game. So you have stuff like, you know, air dodge, where you hit an enemy up in the air and then you can pretty much, you know, dodge, you know, pressing circle behind the enemy, but that enemy that you dodge behind is still in the air, kind of juggle within the air. They also have the web slam that gives a nice ground bounce within the game, which is dope as well. The web kick also has like a new upward kick move, where if you do the web, you hold the web kick and then press triangle, you send the opponent up in the air and have them you know, even more air juggle. But the web slam, it gives you a ground bounce. It's also like a web kind of you know, push to the ground kick thing that he does if you hold X. And it's just a whole bunch of options they give you as far as like, yeah, this is your playground. Do what you got to do out here and mess around and have fun with the you know, the combat scenarios. I also love the one of the best implementations is the web line. The web line is so much fun, man, because it's more like a stealth mechanic. You know what I mean, just to be sneaky and be, you know, Spider-Man and make sure enemies don't see you. But it's the way how they implemented it is a super dope, because it's not like it's super limited and what you can do and where you can you know, web line to. There's some limits there, but yo, the creations that you can have with the web line, you can make the scenario, the combat scenario that you're in, look like an actual like a web, you know what I mean? Like you can have it looking like the whole webs and all over the place in the air. It's just looking crazy as far as what you can do and implement in the game, man. Yeah, the web line is a super fun, man. It's super fun, like, you know, doing all the web takedowns and the new addition to the takedowns where you can do multiple takedowns. Now you can do a duo, you know, perched web takedown now, which is super dope. Everything you can do from there, from the web strike, you can use your gadgets, all that stuff from the web line as well. And yeah, even the gadgets, they simplified that, but I like it a lot. You know what I mean? It's less gadgets, but I do like that the gadgets do upgrade more. They have more upgrades to the gadgets, because not only do, you know, you can just make it stronger or whatnot, they have other effects that will help you out in combat when it comes to the web gadgets, man. So yeah, I enjoy that stuff a lot, man. I really enjoy that stuff a lot when it comes to the gadgets, the abilities, the web line, all that stuff. So yeah, Marvel Spider-Man 2, the combat is by far some of the best stuff that I've experienced in a superhero game. You know what I mean? So yeah, I do love the combat a lot. I love the implementations of like all the suits as well. You know what I mean? They have like, you know, the suits that they added in there. A lot of suits look really cool. You know, some of the suits look all right, you know, but you have a whole bunch of suits to pick from. And yeah, I love the variety of suits that you can have. They took away the abilities that suits can do as far as like individual suits abilities, but you can upgrade your abilities within a suit. You know what I mean? So you have like a general pool of suit upgrades that you have within the game, which is pretty cool. But yeah, they do offer a lot of suits that I think a lot of people will like. You know, they added my favorite suit, the Superior Spider-Man suit. I'm happy that they added that suit because I'm a big fan. That's my favorite read in Spider-Man, and I'm a big fan of that suit, and I'm happy that they added it in there. But yeah, there's a lot of options in there, man, when it comes to the suits, man. And yeah, Peter, you know, being, you know, the symbiote abilities, I think is super dope, and how they implemented that and where it's going within that, you know, as it upgrades over and over by time within the story. The scene that the symbiote's taking more of a hold of him. Yeah, and the abilities that the symbiote can do, super fun. You know what I mean? Differentiating itself from Miles Morales and his Venom abilities. So I like those implementations a lot. The graphics in this game is by far some of the best graphics that you have. This is a super open world game, and some of the level details that's going on is on Naughty Dog level of level detail, probably even more just due to the ray tracing and all that stuff that's going on as you fight a whole bunch of enemies within the game. It's just crazy as far as how this game looks and all the things that they've implemented here in the game. So graphics is top notch, Some of the best looking stuff here, man. Ray tracing. One of the best scenes is the Coney Island scene where they have, you know, the ray tracing in the water, all the lights and glimmer that's going around, the hunters all over the place, and it's just looking amazing. The enemies itself, the enemies, oh my god, so much enemy variety. The enemies do adapt to you as far as what you're doing. If you're in the air too long, they will send out this web net thing to keep you out of the air and keep you grounded, you know, so they can attack you. They will set up certain traps. They got these hunters out here that set up these webs that would trap you in there. Then they have these robot dogs that would, you know, limit your ability. So it would take away your ability so you can't really just flurry in them. They got these dudes that's volleying arrows all over the place. Yo, it's so much enemy variety that's going on the game, and I just love the fact of that, man. So yeah, there's so much things that I love about Spider-Man 2, and there's so much things that I feel like a lot of people would love about this game. Story, combat, graphics, you know, the enemies, the boss fights are amazing as well. Some of the best boss fights in gaming, my goodness. These boss fights is good. Some of them took a lot of adaptation, man, because, yo, like I said, I'm playing on spectacular difficulty, and it definitely took me a few tries to get to some of these enemies and bosses, yo, which is crazy. But I feel like a lot of people is gonna love the enemy variety, the bosses that's in the game. There's a lot of secrets and nods to a lot of characters in this game, which I'm not gonna spoil, but I hope you guys enjoy that stuff, man, because take your time and play the game, because the world that they crafted here is just super amazing. You know, New York City really comes alive within Spider-Man 2. The world is super dense, you know, it's super populated. There's so much things to interact with and explore to within the game. They really made Spider-Man's playground in this game, you know, so big kudos to Insomniac offering ray tracing throughout the whole entire game as far as what you do and having that option within the game. It's just like, wow, you guys really crafted a wonderful New York City, and it needs to be commended, you know. So yeah, I love what they did as far as the combat, the graphics, some of the best stuff in the game, the best combat in the game, the enemy variety, you know, offering so much different enemy varieties in the game, you know, just having you adapt constantly within there. One of the biggest things that they also added as well is the parry button. The parry button, you know, it definitely took me some time to get used to it, because there are enemies and there's bosses that you fight in this game that you are going to need to learn that parry button, especially on the spectacular difficulty, because you will get mopped up out here in these Spider-Man streets. You know what I mean? So the parry button is cool, and you have different follow-up options that you can do. You don't have to necessarily just attack every time. You can parry, and then you can press triangle or you can press circle just to see what's going on within the game. And yeah, I love all the new implementations graphically, world wise, combat wise. They're super dope. You know, one of the biggest things that people talk about in this game is the length. And going into the game, I felt like it was definitely like, damn, people are completing this game in 20-25 hours. That's much shorter than what it was in Spider-Man 2 as far as like how much activities and all the stuff that you can do. But overall, I love the pacing. I love the length of the game. You know, yeah, I would love more world activities to do and more crime, you know, variety to have in the game. But story-wise, pacing-wise, I felt like it was perfect. It was like perfect. Like I didn't have no issues as far as like how they implemented the pacing and the length of the story. So yeah, that's not really an issue for me personally, man. I really enjoy that stuff, and I love that stuff, and I'm looking forward to what they actually do story-wise and other things when it comes to Marvel Spider-Man, you know, 3, or even an expansion game, you know, in between Marvel Spider-Man 3, you know, 2 and 3 or whatnot. Heck, Miles having another, you know, of his own game, which would be super dope. You know, Peter, you know, doing some of the side stuff that, you know, he promised a certain character that he would do. I think a lot of that stuff they can implement and even go further beyond, adding like expansion story DLC for Peter, an expansion story DLC for Miles as well, in between the time where, you know, we're waiting for Marvel Spider-Man 3, man. But yeah, I had a grandiose time here wonderful time playing Marvel Spider-Man 2, and yeah, I highly recommend it. There's nothing really that I can say that where I was like, oh, now I can't recommend this game. The game is beautiful. The game plays well. It feels great. The DualSense implementations is wonderful. You know, I felt like they could do a little bit more, you know, when it comes to the symbiote, but you know, it's cool. I understand. But yeah, I liked it a lot, man. I love what they added towards this game. This is definitely a true and worthy sequel to the original Marvel Spider-Man 2018. And Insomniac, they have the juice, man. They have something special over there with the studio, you know, that I just want more of these games. I want more Spider-Man games from them. I don't want to limit them to the Spider-Man games, but I do want more Spider-Man from them, because they crafted such a great game, such a great world that I'm continue to play in. But yeah, they definitely need to add that new game plus, you know, clean up some of the you know, bugs, issues that's going on in the game. But other than that, man, like I said earlier in the video, I'm rating Marvel Spider-Man 2 a 10 out of 10. Yes, this game is a 10 out of 10 to me. It is a masterpiece. I love that's everything they had when it comes to the story, the symbiotes, Peter, Harry, side characters, everything about this game, man, just had me super giddy and joyful after I completed it. And yeah, if you complete a game and you want more of it, that's always a great thing. So add that new game plus, and yeah, a 10 out of 10 for me when it comes to this game, man. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, how you felt about Marvel Spider-Man 2. Is it your game of the year? Is it not? Let me know in the comment section below. This is your boy Jay Bari, and this is my Marvel Spider-Man 2 review. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit the like button, and if you're new, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. I'm gone. Deuces.
Spider-Mobile.